Welcome to Waking... Sorry. Cut that. Welcome to Waking the Kraken. I'm Wes Potts.
And I'm Alex Kahneman.
And today we're going to start off the episode a little bit different. We're going to do Kraken World News.
Ah, yes. The news.
The news.
In Cambodia, some tourists were arrested for apparently making pornography when all they did was they were having a party and with clothes still on, some of them made some sexual-looking gestures and a picture got taken, and if they're convicted, they could go to jail for a year. Thank God we don't live in Cambodia.
Yeah. Also, in news, Donald Trump has tweeted at Jay-Z that he's discussing how black unemployment has gone down dramatically since he started. And Jay-Z's comments have been replied with that most of the economic policies that have led to large-scale employment for black citizens and stuff like that is due to Obama administration tactics.
Yeah, right. Interesting. As of 2018, we're all here now, the doomsday clock has officially been moved from 3 minutes to 2 minutes to midnight, which means they feel like the Earth is as close as it has possibly ever been to a doomsday-type scenario happening thanks to North Korea.
Would that include the Cuban Missile Crisis? Because I feel like the Cuban Missile Crisis might have been a little bit more. Just on the fact that like it was like 1 minute to midnight, I think is what they said was the closest that we've ever been.
Yeah. Well,
but I mean, I guess it's in a very long time.
It's been quite a long time.
The impeding like idea of constant nuclear war instead of just the crisis.
Yeah, right.
Might push that. A 5,000-year-old human jaw has been discovered in Israel. It is the oldest human relative outside of Africa that's been discovered to date.
Man. Moves in the education community are starting to push towards understanding that there's no reason to teach our children things that robots can do and foreseeably always do better than humans. And it seems to be received really well, where they're really interested in the concept of maybe we should teach our kids things that machines could never do, like how to be compassionate or how to have independent thought, or how to be creative and things like that of that nature. So that gives me some very much hope for the future.
And in less pressing news and stuff like that, I read something the other day. It was a piece on the BBC. It was an island on the border of France and Spain. They both have mutual custody, it sounds like. For 6 months every year, France owns it, and then Spain owns it. It was actually part of a treaty that was from a war back in the 1500s, and it's still going on today.
Wow.
It's just really weird. It falls in this little river. It's called the Phasian Island.
Yeah, it's called the Stepdad Treaty.
Yeah, the Stepdad Treaty of 1640 or something like that. And that's the news.
Right. I think we should go right from the news into super fight.
Super fight.
Because it's staring me in the face right now, and I can't avoid it. Do we have a consensus for this episode? I think we got a couple comments about this one.
Yeah, I think I have yet to receive any comments on like on the. Did you get anything on the Instagram or on the YouTube?
Yeah, I think on the Instagram. Let's check it. I think on the Instagram. Instagram.
Anyway, while you're looking that
up,
I
don't know how to navigate, so you're
I'm gonna talk about like this weird scenario that happened to me the other day. Obviously, like you'd like to say before, I find myself in very odd scenarios. But this one I didn't even try. It was just almost like walking into a Twilight Zone. So I went to this restaurant the other day in town, and it's a British pub. And normally it's just like this like farmer's market, kind of like farm to table kind of mentality of it. But so the other day, me and Chloe decided we were going to go out to it, and we walk in, and I noticed this one lady wearing like a tartan, and I was like, wow, I've never really ever been to a restaurant where people are so excited about the theme that they dress as the theme to go to said restaurant.
Yeah, right.
Which was just really awkward to me at first. But then we sat down, and we got our menus, and I started looking around, and I noticed a guy wearing this, like, jacket, and I was like, that's a really unique jacket. And then I noticed that it is, like, a traditional Highland jacket.
Oh, really?
And then he's wearing a kilt and a tartan as well, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, did I miss something? Was there, like a a historical society about like Scottish heritage or something in this area, and then I look up at their specials board and it's Robbie Burns Day, and then I just slap myself in the face because if you've ever met my friend Sean, who's from Scotland, he fucking loves talking about Robbie Burns. Like Robbie Burns to him is what he considers to be the Scottish William Shakespeare. That's how he's the guy who wrote the piece for New Year's, like when you sing the da 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 da.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All the lyrics and stuff like that are by Robbie Burns.
Okay.
So, but it's a day that they have every year in Scotland. It's a big day, and so there was like haggis on the board and stuff like that. I was like, this is just
cool.
a surreal moment that I walked into about feeling like the odd man out because I live in the middle of America and I'm not dressed in Scottish gear.
Yeah, right.
It's like a weird scenario I never thought I would find myself in.
Whenever I was on my trip, driving around last week, you said tartan, and this is interesting. I had never really heard of like a tartan before, or never really knew what it was. And we're looking up different state symbols as we pass through the states, because Wikipedia has like massive lists of an amazing amount of symbols you never knew your state had.
Oh yeah.
And every state almost has a tartan, and I wanted to know what the point of it was, and I think this is really interesting. Like, a tartan is basically plaid, but it's more than just two colors.
Right.
Is the rule. This tartan, it's horizontal and vertical stripes of multiple colors, so typically more than two, and they're typically made with whatever dyes were at hand of where you lived. So originally, tartans kind of represented more of like a location, or
right. It was like location or clan based.
Yeah, and at first it was like family and clan based. It was like, oh yeah, all the family does it, and then it was like, okay, well now like all of these clans are using the same colors, so their tartans are kind of hard to tell apart. And then you can say, well, that's how you can tell it from region.
Right.
And then whenever they all started to move to the United States, they actually all started coming up with their own new tartans for the area, based on the dyes. And so all of the state tartans are still based on the region, which I think is super cool. Like, you like look at the colors and you say like, okay, these are probably going to be the brightest, most vivid of the colors I'm going to see in this area. And that's what you can get from just looking at your state's tartan. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that is neat.
Yeah. And that just adds to the whole, like, the great American melting pot thing. Like, a part of our culture is Scottish culture.
What was really interesting to, like, go into this restaurant, too, because, like, on the walls of this, like, place, like, there's, like, framed tartans, like, the plaid colors, and then right underneath it, you see the name of the family on there. Mm-hmm. And so it was interesting to be able to look around it was almost like an I Spy novel, or like the I Spy like little books that you read when you were a kid, because you could be like, okay, what's this guy's kilt? What plaid does it match with? Let's find out what his ancestral lineage is just by looking at him. Yeah,
yeah, and I think that's such a cool thing. Like, I wish that was still like prevalent in today's society.
Right.
Like, I wish like the coat of arms, or like, family crests and things like that were still really big and really popular, and like something that, like, I feel like if everyone, like, if you had a school uniform, like, the school uniform should just have, like, you get your shirt with your family crest or sigil on it. And so, like, it's an identifier, but, like, I mean, and I guess that's kind of bad if you want to look at it that way. But at the same time, like, it kind of, I don't know. It's just an old tradition that, like, has, I feel like, been lost on a lot of us, because we can be anything we want. And it's like, well, what about the thing you already are?
Well, I think also, like, the idea of, like, tartans and stuff like that, like, being in America where it is the melting pot, not everyone, like, had the tradition of that. Like, it's just Scottish people and stuff. There's a lot of German people. There's a lot of, like, other groups of people in the area that I guess wouldn't have that tradition. So it is a really niche tradition, like, it's kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. It's like how you go north, like in the north part and stuff like that, they seem to have a lot of, like, beer fest and everything because of, like, the German community.
Right. Yeah, and of course they always have a really good beer festival up in St. Louis and even Columbia.
Yeah. And I think St. Louis is also really unique on the fact that they have, like, the second biggest Mardi Gras outside of New Orleans. Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me at all.
Because they're a French established city. Super fight though. Cheetah as a tween versus Michael Jackson, and what can he do?
Michael Jackson can make a force field while holding breath.
Right, and so what was the consensus on that?
Okay, we got one vote each way, but this one kind of takes the cake for me because it brings up a really good point.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson is already dead, so he doesn't need to hold his breath. He would just keep a force field up forever until the Cheetah died.
Dope. So
Queen
Michael
Cheetah
Jackson won. Well, that's good. Okay, I don't know if we should use that one though, because we could literally use that against any fucking person forever. Like Michael Jackson with a force field is going to win all the time.
Well, how about...
I think we need to gauge it on if Michael Jackson was alive.
Okay, if Michael Jackson was alive,
Yeah.
I would say great lung capacity, fantastic singer,
True.
could do it while dancing. Probably can hold his breath for a very long time and outwit the cheetah.
And really, all he has to do is wait till the cheetah's like right on him, and then hold his breath real quick. And he's probably going to do that anyway because you have a giant predatory animal coming at
right?
you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Michael Jackson wins this one, but with the default of he's not dead.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
So,
He's not a zombie, and he can only do the... Okay, I agree.
So,
I agree.
Cool. So who's our next battler on this one?
God. Okay.
All right. So I've got... Ooh, this one's going to be funny to go against Michael Jackson.
Okay, what do we got?
Because I've got a redneck.
Oh!
What can this redneck do?
What can this redneck do?
What can this redneck do?
There's 10 of them.
This is... Okay, that's racist. This is going to get really racist.
Okay, hold on.
No, it's the redneck part. There's 10 of them is not the bad part. It's just there's 10 rednecks against Michael Jackson with a force field.
Okay, you're right. Okay, you're going back into the pile. That'll come up another day.
All right. So I've got Helen Keller.
All right, there's 10 of them.
There's 10 Helen Kellers against one Michael Jackson with one force field.
Remember, she's immeasurably smart.
That's right.
She's keen in none of her senses.
That's right. And that means, like, she might be, like, one of those secret Shaolin masters.
Oh, no, she's keen in one of 5 senses. She touch. She can feel.
She can feel.
Can't hear, speak, or...
Maybe... Oh, man, this would be a really cool graphic novel on, like, making Helen Keller because she can't, like, hear or, like, see. Like, she just has some weird echolocation ability.
Yeah, right.
So... but that's not part of it. There's 10 Helen Kellers
10
without
Helen
echolocation.
All right, so we got 10 Helen Kellers versus Michael Jackson can make a force field while holding breath.
Right.
Fight. Leave your comments below, either on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook,
Or Twitter.
We're gonna try to keep everybody.
We want you to visit and like and subscribe us to everything.
Yeah.
We want to become your best friend on the internet.
Yeah, we want to make sure you get notified about everything at least 3 or 4 times.
That's right. I know that's what I love.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about the internet a little bit today.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do it this way. I got a question. I'm gonna ask you the question, get your side, and then I'm gonna say, okay, this is what I think.
All right.
What do you think is the simplest way to describe the internet?
Let's see. What's the simplest way to describe the internet? I would say that it is the collective of all human knowledge that can be accessed from anywhere on the globe, basically.
Okay, that's interesting. Because that's a good way to put it. I think yeah, it's like collective human knowledge, but there's also like all of these other like experiences that can be involved with it. Like it's not just for information and knowledge.
Right.
And so there's a part of me that almost wants to say that it's like, okay, this is literally like a digital brain that everyone can plug into. Really, they just have to turn their screen on and make sure the light's hitting their eyes, you know?
Right.
And then as long as you got some keyboards and stuff, or a controller, or a console, you know, you can play with your friends online, wherever they're at. And it's just kind of this wild thing to me. And it's almost like a secondary universe. It's like we made our own digital universe that connects everybody.
It's the Matrix in the Matrix.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I would almost go as far to say that the internet is almost a sort of like a digital manifestation of our consciousness. You know?
Well, I mean, you have to admit there are some people that literally only exist on the internet. It seems like.
Yeah, that's true.
You hear about them all the time. Like they're really famous on the internet for doing whatever. There's people that I think there's like this one guy that keeps popping up on Reddit that I see, and I don't know if it's a joke or not. I'm not that well versed in it, but his name is Kin M. Like that's all it is Kin M. And he just comments on things randomly, and people put this up on this one subreddit, and it's really popular just because he has like these weird fucking ideas or something. Like
Kin M.
Kin M.
It sounds like a Superman.
That does sound
Like
like
a Kal-El.
like a Kal-El, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like just a name from like Krypton.
Yeah, right.
He's just another Kryptonian, but he's not as famous as superhero. Or
Yeah,
Superman.
right. The Earth's effects weren't quite as strong on him.
Yeah, he was born in outer space.
So my second question about the internet, do you think the internet is a harmful place in any way?
I think it can be used as a harmful thing. I think the idea that there are places where you can find like such morose things as like childhood pornography, or you can sell people or hire a hitman, or even like I think it was you that was telling me a couple weeks ago. There's a guy that exists on the internet that if you pay him a certain amount of money, he will just destroy your reputation.
Yeah,
Like,
It was like $20 to like change someone's passwords to where it would be a pain in the ass for them to figure out how to get it back. Like,
Yeah.
and it'll do it to everything they have.
He's basically the cyber devil.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like it's basically just a hacker for hire.
Yeah.
And you can go up to paying him something like $5,000, and he'll totally like ruin someone's life.
Like,
financially.
do I think it can be? I think it's a tool like anything else. I think it can be used for good. I think that like it can be used for educational purposes and sharing knowledge, such as things like JSTOR and like the ability to find large archives of almost anything you ever wanted on there.
Yeah, right.
But it also comes with the double-edged sword of having the evil and all the morose things in the world that used to be a lot harder and hidden to find, all accessible from anywhere in the point for any point on the world for anyone who knows how to get there. The fact that you can buy large amounts of heroin off of the internet if you go through certain portals.
That's true.
It doesn't. Is it evil in its own nature? No. Is it being used by evil? Yes, because it's humans.
Well, yeah, of course.
So
I guess, in my mind, the way I look at it is the internet itself does no harm.
right.
People using the internet can, like any tool. You know, a saw is really good for cutting wood. It's also really good for fucking somebody up. You know, if you use it.
Classic horror movie.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so like, to me, I think the most harmful thing about the internet is the only really harmful thing that I think it does, which is it's a tool like a table saw. It has a function and a purpose, and you don't need it all the time.
Right.
But it's also a tool that really plays on dopamine receptors and immediate satisfaction, and so it really harms us in the fact where when you use the tool, you feel so good using it that you do become almost obsessed with it.
Yeah, no, there's a guy that was talking about millennials. I watched him a couple weeks ago, and he's a Generation Xer, and he's talking about millennials, and he's like the hardest thing you've got to realize on blaming millennials for being lazy and narcissistic and all the other horrible qualities that millennials get is the fact is, he's like, we basically gave them a loaded gun. He's like, you look at it and you go, it's basically the same thing as going, hey, I know that you're having a lot of problems with adolescence and everything like that. Here's a liquor cabinet, and it's completely open. You can drink as much of this as you want. It'll make it go away. It's the same thing with the internet, because we don't have those, like, you can be on the internet at any age.
Yeah, and I think what makes that really potentially harmful to people is, like, I know that there are a lot of people in the world that don't like the outside, and they don't like going there, and they don't like interacting with the world. And it's like, you know what? That's fine. If you don't want to go out and stand in the sun, you don't have to. But if you're going to sit at home all day, like, you can play video games or watch YouTube or get stuck, just like, reading, articles on your phone or checking Facebook or tweeting, and it's like you can get stuck doing all that. Or you could maybe just find some of the shit in your house and make something. If you can just force your hands to interact with something real, and you get like a real life result out of it, it really helps with your confidence and your creativity. And I feel like the problem with the internet is you see all this amazing content and all of these amazingly creative things on the internet, and it's so enticing to just get stuck in, and the tool all of a sudden becomes entertainment rather than a tool.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like, it can be largely used for entertainment.
Yeah, and like I think entertainment's probably the best use of the internet.
Especially
honestly.
like that's what we're doing.
Yeah, which is what we're doing.
We're making entertainment and telling you not to listen to entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and so I mean, I guess I mean, it's a double-sided tool.
Right.
You know, on one end we can use it to create, but on the other end people use it to listen, which is the main focus.
Well, I think it's all got to be a balance. It's really got to be like that whole like, I'm gonna use it sometimes for entertainment, but I can't exclusively use it for entertainment or a distraction or getting away.
Yeah.
You need to use it for a productive manner as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have business emails and all those other things as well. I do say there's something to be said about going and doing something with your hands that doesn't involve television or or the internet at all.
Yeah, like you've been going out and taking pictures lately, and I'm sure. And I mean, I haven't got to see you as much as I would like lately, just because of the trip and like our schedules are opposite now. But like, I would imagine since you've been doing that you just feel better in general.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You're doing something different with your day.
Well, half the reason I got a camera was because it came down to the fact that I need it and I wanted to use it for like portraying like other things and stuff. But also I just said, well, I can get a dog or I can get a camera, and both of those are going to force me to go outside and go walk around, which will make me healthier, and I don't have to feed a camera.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll admit, like, I'm the first person to admit I hate waking up in the morning.
Right.
And I, like, black out my curtains and everything and darken my room up. And, like, I wake up every morning and I don't want to get out of bed or do anything. And I'm so used to just rolling out of bed and going into the living room where it's still dark, turning on the PlayStation, watching something or playing a game.
Yeah.
And not getting outside. And, like, if I have a day off sometimes, I'll just waste my whole day sitting there on the couch.
Yeah.
And I just feel groggy and tired the whole day. But on days that I have to go to work, I feel the exact same way when I wake up. But as soon as I've spent about 5 minutes like in my car with the sun hitting me in the morning, I just feel like good. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I'm awake now.
Well,
yeah,
there's something to be said about like vitamin D. Like you need vitamin D.
Yeah, you need it. And it just seems like such an obvious miss, you know.
Yeah.
And it's an easy one to just not think about, you know. The sun, we only think about being light. We don't really think about it being part of our health. And you have to, because it's there. Like, we wouldn't be here without it.
Right. It is the main evolutionary reason that we're here on this planet.
Like,
It's we need it to survive.
Yeah. We need it just as much as we need the Earth.
Yeah. So going away from the tangent on off of the other side, more entertainment value is. Have you ever thought about what I was talking to Patrick. You've heard Patrick. He's been on the show before, and he was homeschooled. Mm-hmm. And he'd said something about a prom, and I said, "Do homeschoolers get proms?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, there's really a big one in town." And I have to just imagine if it's really awkward, like
like you and like maybe the girl that you take to prom or the guy, depending on who
like
you are.
You and someone that you met randomly go to this prom with a fucking ton of strangers.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure you'll know, like, some of them.
Right, I mean, there's teams now and stuff that they have where they're like, okay, well, we have this, like, basketball team because homeschoolers want to play basketball, and we have this, but I don't know, I feel like, just, like, from the stereotype of homeschoolers, I'm sure not all homeschoolers are awkward, but a lot of them that I've met, including Patrick, sometimes can be a bit awkward.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because they have a lot more time to, like, fuse who they actually are, and they don't have the social construct of, like, that's weird.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I think that's the thing that makes, like, someone who wasn't a homeschooler, whenever you go, oh, homeschoolers are awkward generally, is because they're completely comfortable with being themselves because no one ever said, that's fucking weird, why are you into that? Because normally you're with your siblings and they have similar interests.
Yeah, right,
like,
yep.
So.
And your parents are just encouraging you to just enjoy whatever you enjoy, probably.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you like that? That's cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless it's not cool, then it's not
unless
cool.
it's not Jesus. And then, that's the only reason I've ever found for homeschooling is religion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all of my friends that have been homeschooled were
religious.
Were raised in pretty religious families.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like, I know there are people out there that go, well, I raise my kid at home, or I do homeschool at my kid because he gets better grades and stuff. But I feel like that's just like, a lot of times I hear that, I feel like that's just like propaganda that they tell you to say when you just want to say, I really just want to give my kid more of a religious upbringing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I want to give him a religious upbringing, but also check this perk out that we made up. Like,
Yeah.
It's like a way to like get them off your back.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like, well,
But I'm imagining, like, I just want to go to a homeschool prom, like, to chaperone, mainly just to see what music they play and, like, how people dance and interact with each other. I feel like it's, like, it's gold. It's, like, coming-of-age story gold.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's a TV show waiting to happen.
Yeah, and it's like a beautiful little quirky independent film that will win all of the Sundance Awards.
Yeah, about homeschool prom.
About homeschool prom. Because like I want to know what they feel like being bad is on homeschool.
Yeah, right.
And
yeah,
stuff like that. Because like I went to public school, and so you know what were like the illicit things that people did. On prom night, like there's the stereotype. It's in all the movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
And so I want to know what like homeschool prom, like they're like, oh man, we snuck outside and like we all passed around a cigarette.
Whoa.
Bad to the bone.
Man, I had like 2 puffs.
I'm sorry if anyone is listening to this and is homeschool and getting really upset. I just don't know many homeschoolers. I know Patrick, and I know Patrick's family, and they like have their own unique kind of things about them, and they're funny as shit. But like sometimes Patrick says the weirdest fucking shit in the world.
He really does.
Like,
Well, I mean, like you can't be this like massive man that he is, who's also super gentle, really into anime. Doesn't matter what kind of anime, he likes it. He's really into like Norse mythology. He really likes folk music, death metal, black metal, anything metal, strippers, and
beer.
And poutine. He really likes poutine.
He loves poutine.
He loves
yeah.
poutine. Yeah, he always wears. He's got poutine, like always eating pizza or something as a shirt. It's like one of his like 7 shirts.
Weirdest kid.
Yeah, and he's just who he is. And I mean, like,
Did you hear that he got a job at that club? Like he's a bouncer now.
no, he's gonna be a bouncer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one is it? Centerfolds?
Softails.
Softails. Oh, Softails. That's funny.
Yeah.
Patrick at a strip club. He's gonna be standing there with his poutine shirt and be like,
He was telling me he did training the other day, and he was telling me the one thing that the guy told him is make sure the beer kegs don't run out. And I was like, Patrick, or no, I guess the way that Patrick said it wasn't even kegs, it was just make sure the beer doesn't go out.
oh.
And I was like, Patrick, are you really a bouncer or are you a server? And he's like, no, I mean behind the counter. I was like, oh, that makes more sense.
Right.
I thought he just meant like the bouncer was just like make sure that everyone still has beers in their cup.
Yeah. You need to keep everyone out and also keep everybody's glass tip-top ship shape.
That's right.
$6.50 an hour. And tips, yeah.
But yeah, no, that's Patrick's new endeavor is that. And I think that's hilarious because I can't wait to have him back on the show to hear more weird stories.
Right. I mean, how long is it going to be before, like, most of his friends are strippers and that's just who he hangs out with?
It's going to be hilarious. Like,
And they're going to love him. And you know what? He's just going to be so, like, nice.
He's just like this weird little gentle giant. Like, even, like, he liked going there. The only reason he went there is what he told me. And there's probably it's probably mostly true. But, he was telling me the only reason he went there initially was because the beer was super cheap.
Yeah, and their steak is probably is considered to be
They don't
solid.
have steak there.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
But yeah, like, he just went there because he's like, yeah, the beer's really cheap, the shots are really cheap. And then he just kept going there for it. And, like, he would never, like, watch the strippers or anything. They would just give him shots and get him drunk.
It's a good reason to like a place.
It's hilarious. Like,
I mean, like...
His life is becoming weirder than mine, and it's hilarious.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a strip club if the strippers were, like, off in the background as, like, something you would be like, as you, like, turn around, you're like, oh, yeah, that's there. And then, like, otherwise it's just a bar. Like, if I could handle that. I could see where Patrick would do that. And just be like, oh, yeah, that's right. And then, like, just go back to his drink.
Oh, man. But yeah, like, so that's the update on Patrick and stuff like that. Oh, also in other news, if you follow What's Haunting Wes and Nate, you'll notice that I put mimosas at night up on the What's Haunting Wes and Nate page, which is the first time that I've ever done that, and now I just feel like a big idiot on the fact that I was like, here's like people that probably just listen to exclusively What's Haunting Wes and Nate are like, oh man, another episode called Mimosas at Night. This is weird, and then they listen to it and it sounds nothing like
it. And there's
except for,
another
like,
guy,
my fucking voice on there. And it's like, this isn't about ghosts. This isn't about TV. This isn't about anything.
It's only about Wes.
It's only about Wes
and this other guy I don't know.
Dude,
yeah,
like,
right.
and they're like really amped that it's mimosas at night.
Yeah.
Like,
Mimosa Gate, man.
Mimosa Gate, yeah. I sent it out on What's Haunting Wes and Nate before I sent it out on Waking the Kraken.
Mimosa Nate.
Mimosa Nate.
What else is new? They're making a new Lord of the Rings TV series
I saw
on
that.
Amazon.
Did Amazon get it? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember like hearing about it. That Amazon was thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
But I also know that like I think Netflix had a running in it too. But I think they probably to get something else.
Probably. Well, Amazon's smart, or Netflix has been smart. They're like putting so much movie into their original content. I mean, they have so many good movies and TV shows that are Netflix originals now.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where they should be spending their money. Like, be a new TV station. Don't just be the streaming service that takes what other people have made.
Well, they're starting to rival HBO a lot of times. Like, people's, like, their shows are starting to win almost as many Emmys, if not more Emmys, than HBO a lot of times.
Yeah, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so I think with Amazon getting it is probably more appropriate, because they're willing to still put the money into the big budget stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like, basically already known
Amazon needs a show. That's the thing, is like I really like some of the content that I can get on Amazon. Like I loved Man in the High Castle. Man in the High Castle is phenomenal. Most every other like Amazon original show I don't think I can say that I've ever watched.
Yeah, right.
I take that back. I've started watching what is it, Electric Dream, but that's another Philip K. Dick that they're doing.
Yeah.
But I think they might have something with like the whole like Lord of the Rings. That's a big fan base. They can either do it really, really well or just awfully.
Yeah, and I found out another little piece of information today about it. Like, I thought that what we were going to be getting was going to be like a crazy awesome, like, and we're going to redo the first, the 3 books, you know? And they're going to do, in an episodic fashion, they're going to do everything from every book. I was like, that would be awesome. That would be amazing. You know, capture every moment and do it over the course of several seasons. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd watch that.
Right.
Like, just to get the extra content, But it's going to be prequels, I guess. It's going to be a prequel series.
Okay.
And that kind of is a little concerning, like, because, well, actually, I don't know. Now that I think about it,
I think they could be really cool.
There's such a mass of Tolkien books that
think
kind of expand the universe in both directions.
Yeah, and I think a prequel to it is a smart route to go, because that way you're not replacing any of the actors as other people.
Yeah.
Like, you're not like getting rid of Frodo and changing him around, or having old Frodo show up or anything like that. You don't need any of the cast.
Yeah.
And you have an entire map of like Middle Earth that you can just explore like crazy. And you still have like orcs running around. You still have the Dark Fortress. You still have all these other things that I think would be really awesome to explore with that.
Yeah. So I'm really hopeful for it. I really want it to be good. I have a lot of faith in new content right now. I have a lot of faith in people doing things with new directors and new stuff.
Right.
Because that's just like, it's proving successful with a lot of films. It's proving to me that, like, the ways to be creative with things and keep things fresh are still to change. And so I'm excited. I want to see if I see another Lord of the Rings thing. I'm going to be excited for it to not be the same thing I've seen.
And I'm going to call out Brian Fuller right on this airline right now. And I was like, bring back Hannibal. I want another season of Hannibal.
Yeah, that's no joke, man.
Yeah, seriously. We want another season of Hannibal, like, bad.
Like, that's not even fair. Like, you can't give us probably one of the best renditions of Hannibal Lecter in one of the most, like, wonderfully, like, shot environments.
Yeah, and having, like, 2 really great actors of, like...
Yeah.
Like...
William H. Macy?
No, it's
what is his name?
It's Dacey.
Dacey.
Hugh Dacey.
Hugh Dacey,
and
that's right.
Mads.
Hugh Dacey, yeah, and Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, and just and then don't forget Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne's in it, and Gillian Anderson's in it. She played Scully, and she's still hot.
Yeah. That's pretty much what she does.
Yeah. There's a good collective of, like, different people in there and stuff like that. But, like,
what a good show. Brian Fuller, bring it back.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
I want all of the listeners of this to hashtag Brian Fuller and say, Brian Fuller, bring back Hannibal, hashtag.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Well, any other good news?
I think I'm good for right now.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, once again, thanks for joining us on Waking the Kraken. I'm Wes Potts.
And I'm Alex Kahneman.
And out.